So do you guys remember Lethal Company? Yeah, it came out a while ago, and I wanted to make it out of Lego, and so I did. Well, at least I started on it. I haven't finished yet. Before I jump scare you with a much shorter-haired version of myself, let me explain. I signed up for the Brickfest live convention in the beginning of August, and I wanted to display this thing fully done at that convention. Yeah, I just couldn't make it in time. It's a little comme ci comme ça, as they say in français. But let's get started with how I built this thing, because, I mean, it's quite intricate. I have to build a Lego mock in 5 days, and I've got all the pieces right here. Pretty cool. I was gonna start the past couple days, but I've left it till now. Time to start today, I guess. I already have this much built. It's the ship and 2 trees. Notably, I need the rest of it. I don't have a lot of time, but I do have a lot of pieces. So on day 1, I started building the factory by placing the walls down and figuring out what the layout would be. The game isn't very consistent with the height of the rooms and everything because it generates randomly and doesn't require the laws of physics to suspend itself. So I decided to have everything above a pit. Eventually, I realized I would need to add some connections down here for some later detailing, but thankfully I could just rip off the entire wall to reach the bottom of the build to make any changes. In the game, the walls are made of this corrugated metal, and to replicate that texture, I thought the other side of the masonry bricks would do just the trick. Unfortunately, I don't have enough of these to line the entire build. I thankfully have a lot of like bluish gray pieces that are now light yellowish gray bricks. They don't look great, but I think they'll look great in the factory. I feel this coloration lends itself quite well to the rundown look of the factory. I did have to skip on a few layers of masonry bricks to conserve them for the walls in the actual rooms. This is basically how far I've gotten with the build so far. This area is going to be the spawn room, then we'll go into the jump room, and then this room right here is going to be the staircase that goes up to the top floor. Hopefully that's big enough. But I mean, it's pretty, it's pretty sound, pretty solid. Honestly, just making this already has kind of reduced the amount of stress I'm feeling. The only thing I'm kind of concerned about is how I go from this factory section to the non-factory sections. I figured I'd build up the walls to a height I was comfortable with while implementing those steel beams, and then I could just build the canyon to match the height when I get around to working on it. Now that I reached the rooms, I can finally implement those great pieces and start working on the catwalks that span across the pits. Alright, so it's Tuesday and I've made quite a bit of progress from yesterday. I stayed up kind of late, up till like 3 o'clock, because I was just like, oh, okay, get some ideas out. But, I mean, it's kind of looking good. Okay, so it's actually Thursday today. Yesterday I managed to get this done. It's the bridge. I thought I got some really cool detail in there. So I'm using a ladder or 2 ladders. Each lat is like a stud wide, so you can actually wedge pieces in there. And I thought that worked really well for that like rickety metal look, as well as the canyon. At the end here, this is where the dam is, and this is all going to be tiled off. That's pretty much all I got done yesterday after sorting everything. So today is a real day of just kind of getting it done, really. And hopefully I don't run out of bricks, because if I do, then uh-oh. Stinky! I'm definitely taking some artistic liberties here with recreating the map. With the bridge, for instance, it'll only have 1 central supporting beam rather than the 8 it has in the game. Once I got the height roughly where I needed it, it's onto the rockwork. There's a lot of snot and weird clip techniques used in the build here. I copied this awesome headlight to robot hand technique off of Flickr user Soccer Kid 6, and it lets me get angles that I otherwise wouldn't have gotten by placing these slope bricks normally. At this point I really just had to commit to whatever I was building because the rock work was very time intensive and time was just one thing I didn't have a lot of. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I've managed to line up the 2 segments that I've already built. I'm so proud. This technique will save any Lego build. Stacking these bricks and then just going for it, I managed to, even with tiling off, get everything at the correct height, which I'm just baffled by. The issue is, it is 1:37 a.m. on Friday. So the question is, do I go to sleep? Oh my god. So the thing is, today I have to go for setup today, and I need to drop off the mock. I haven't even started on the grass section, and I still haven't actually finished the factory. I was writing it off in my mind, but it's not actually done yet. So we're going to finish the factory, and then we're going to move on to the grass section. Hopefully get at least a template going so that I can just build off of that, and then it's good to go for the show on Saturday. Alright, let's get to building. I added in some pipes and tubes to replicate the interior details from the game. For this particular pipe, I used a flexible tube from the Exoforce light brick to make the curve in the piping sturdy, since I didn't have any appropriate macaroni parts. I quickly ran out of masonry bricks from the first two rooms, so I switched to the other texture bricks for the staircase catwalk room. Getting these stairs right was not an easy feat. I'm still not super happy with them, but I can always come back to them later. I also managed to get around to starting the bracken room upstairs, but getting the floor right was going to take some more time. And so now we're at this point where I've kind of just been at a bit of a stalemate with my build. Now I want to tackle this and get it done properly. And I want to add monsters, because monsters are at least 50 to 60% of Lethal Company. I want to refurbish this top floor. I think there's a lot of room for improvement there, and I really want to include the finished bracken room, and I'm working on a new way to do the carpet. I also want to include one of those brick-built hallways with the steam valves, because I think that's a really fun area where you could have a landmine blowing up and... I also want to add the grassy bit. You might have noticed I didn't get around to the grassy area. That's because I didn't. I just couldn't make it in time. So yeah, thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and like below if you liked the video. If you didn't like it, that's cool too. You can just comment down below, this video's pee-pee poo-poo bad, and I'm unsubscribing. And yeah, so I'll see you next week when I post an update on my mock. I'll see you at the corporation, at the company. I'll see you at the company building.